Welcome to Real Estate Coaching Radio, starring award-winning real estate coaches and #1 international best-selling authors, Tim and Julie Harris. This is the #1 daily radio show for realtors looking for a no BS, authentic, real-time coaching experience. What's really working in today's market, how to generate more leads, make more money, and have more time for what you love in your life. And now your hosts, Tim and Julie Harris.
3, 2, 1, and we're back. Welcome back. This is part 2. We're talking about how to create an endless supply of free buyer and seller leads. And we're going to be sharing with you point number 6 through 10. And we're just talking about the fact that we're going to give you a bonus point number 11. So today's podcast is sponsored by eXp Realty, specifically being sponsored by Julie and I at eXp Realty. A lot of you, and we know this from the fact that there's hundreds of you that join with us every single month, are moving up to eXp Realty. Every single one of you, because of this economy, should be definitely taking a hard look at what your single largest line item expense is in your business, which is almost always what you're paying your broker. So when you're ready to move up to eXp Realty, we are ready to be your sponsor here at eXp Realty. And there's 2 paths you can follow. If you're just getting ready to get started and you want to learn more about eXp Realty, that's fantastic. Congratulations. Text the letters EXP to 47372. Text the letters EXP to 47372. Or if you're ready to join, if you've not yet chosen a sponsor, please do text me directly at 512-758-0206. 512-758-0206. Because we're in this new economy, because there's so many changes happening, this is the next natural step for all of you. So if you're ready to join, text me directly at 512-758-0206. Or if you're just getting ready to get started and looking for more information, there's a lot of great information and videos. Just text the letters EXP to 47372. Either way, we certainly look forward to the opportunity of being your sponsor at eXp Realty. So this is part 2, and today we're really drilling down on how you can use 1-800-HOMEHOTLINE.com to generate really an endless supply of very, I was going to say motivated, but the most motivated, certainly buyer leads you're ever going to find. And in doing so, you're also going to stumble across lots of sellers. Point number 6, Julie.
Point number 6, we've been talking about how to use it, especially on your real estate sign. Do not hire virtual assistants or other assistants to, quote, convert your sign calls. Do not force your sign callers to go to a website, opt in, or do anything other than to call you. Also, actually answer the phone or call back immediately. That is the point of 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE. Furiously fast lead follow-up is what our coaching clients practice because it works. Your best leads, in other words, they've virtually pre-qualified themselves because they've targeted that neighborhood. That's where they want to live. Your best leads are sitting out in front of your listing right now, wanting to see it ASAP and possibly buy it. They also have a house to sell. Be the one who helps them when they need help.
The last thing you should delegate, and if you ever delegate these things all in your real estate business, are going on listing appointments and pre-qualifying your leads. And I know that many of you think that your goal is to delegate both of those things. It's a huge mistake. Because when you delegate your listing appointments, for example, you're giving away a lot of your profit. And most of you are only going to make money from the listing side, not from the buyer side. But that aside, that's a different podcast, right?
That's right.
What you're doing when you delegate your pre-qualification is you're losing some of your best opportunities. A lot of you think, well, I'm going to delegate it to my buyer's agents or my agents on my team or whatever. They're not ever going to be as good as you are, assuming you've actually taken the time to learn how to pre-qualify people at a high level. But the other problem is they're only going to be mostly looking for buyer leads, again, not following a script, and they're never going to actually learn how to pull out the seller leads that are hiding in 50% of the people that call your 800homehotline.com sign writer asking buyer questions. A lot of those are going to be sellers in disguise. And again, if you're delegating the pre-qualification, you have to assume that you're going to lose at least 50% of those opportunities. And if you aren't using our script that's included with 1-800-HOMEHOTLINE.com, then you're probably down to losing virtually all of your opportunities. Do not delegate the most important things. Can you guys imagine going to a doctor and having the doctor tell you that he's going to delegate the actual procedure that you have chosen for him to perform on you? Can you imagine
Let's have my assistant do it.
Yeah, exactly. You follow this. You found this doctor. You checked him out. You interviewed him.
I'll have my virtual assistant do it.
You guys get it?
No.
That is the exact opposite of. Now, let's say, for example, you are delegating your pre-qualification to somebody who's not very quick on calling people back, not very thorough, maybe has a heavy accent that the person can't completely understand. Who knows what's going to make it so that's not an ideal situation for that prospective buyer. But guess what? That buyer was actually a neighbor who wanted to put their home for sale. You have immediately disqualified yourself from being considered as a listing agent. And maybe they were going to call you before, but because they had that really dubious experience with trying to do business with you, you're out.
That's right, and you won't even know why, will you? Okay, point number 7. Do use in contract or pending writers and then sold on your signs. This is some of the most valuable, least expensive, most effective advertising you can do. Get permission from the new owner to keep your sold sign up for a week after closing, even if it wasn't your buyer. Keep your home brochures in the box, but change the message to a compelling message like, for example, good news, I sold this home in XYZ neighborhood in less than 24 hours. Bad news, there are 5 more people wanting to live here. Call me today to see if I already have a match for your home. Any number of messages you can change that to. The point is, use your sign. I know a lot of agents in a hotter seller's market where things are selling quickly they just don't make the effort to put the in contract, pending, and sold signs. That is a huge mistake.
Well, it's a mistake in this market because of the fact that things are taking longer to sell. And if it goes to for sale and then like 90 days later, then it's sold, you've actually missed a lot of the prospective sellers in that neighborhood that would have called you had it gone from for sale to pending that's sold. So you want to throw the pendings back up on the sign writers, but definitely always leave your 800homehotline.com sign writer on the signs. And don't forget the brochure boxes like we talked about yesterday.
Point number 8, consider using reflective real estate signs.
Let me edit that. Don't consider.
Do it.
Do it. Don't consider using reflective real estate signs.
Just do it.
Just do it. They are incredible and will be an unfair advantage for you in all market conditions, rural, suburban, it doesn't matter. Now,
and they last a lot longer. They're much better quality signs. They're heavier. They're a different material, and they reflect like a stop sign.
So let me give an example.
Yes.
I remember you and I, when we first got into real estate in our early 20s, in our first year in the business, we sold over 100 homes.
Yep.
And we were smart enough to get reflective real estate signs right out of the gates. Mm-hmm. And we were using a different company because 800homehotline.com wasn't in business yet.
That's right.
We're using Arch Telecom or something.
Yep.
And I remember the first listing we took was Carl's house across the street from us.
Yes.
On East
right.
Jeffrey. And we took multiple other listings and we had sellers. Now we lived in Columbus, Ohio, where you had snow, where you had rain.
Real weather.
Where you had maybe 4 hours of daylight and then it got dark. Okay. I'm kind of, exaggerating, but not as much as you think. And we would take listings because of the fact that we had a reflective sign. So here would be the scenario. I remember the first time. I remember this like yesterday, even though it was yesterday plus about 25 years.
Yeah.
We were driving up driving up East Jeffrey, and way off in the distance, it looked like there was a plane landing.
It's that reflective.
It's that reflective. And so way off in the distance, and this was a long street. I don't know how many houses are on this street, but a long street. And this house was about halfway up the street. We just turned off High Street, driving up East Jeffrey. We are going east on East Jeffrey. That's how much I remember, guys. Mm-hmm. And then on the right side of the street, there was this glow way in the distance. I knew we'd had a sign put in the yard, but I didn't realize how flippin' reflective that damn thing was. So not only was it reflective, but it also was larger than every other for sale sign in the neighborhood. Now, here's what I discovered. The local sign company, and when you called them and you ordered for sale signs, they were selling you the same corrugated cardboard signs that every other real estate broker used. Why? Because they had pre-made thousands of real estate sign frames. So they were selling you what they already had in stock. And nobody thought, well, I wonder what zoning ordinances are for how large a for sale sign could possibly be. And so Julie and I, guess what we did? We found out how large they could be. The actual legal sign in where we were selling real estate could be about 50% larger than what everyone else's sign was. So we had a reflective real estate sign made that was indeed 50% larger, and we had 800homehotline.com put on the top. We did the brochure box, and I bet you off that one listing, which was our first listing, we easily sold a dozen homes.
At least. I was planning on trying to count that up one day, but I lost all those addresses. So Yeah, I mean, I would guess if you count not just the listings but the buyers, because that was a heavy first-time buyer neighborhood. Do you remember how much our open houses would rock off of that? I bet it was 20 plus deals that we did.
And we go on listing appointments, and we did, guess what, proactively lead generated, because we had no center of influence. We weren't from this community. We didn't know any of the neighborhoods. But they would ask about the for sale sign. They thought it was it's
a moment of truth. Remember, we talked about that yesterday.
It's a gimmick for sure, but damn, does it work? And we just
Such an easy thing.
And just by the very fact that we had this for sale sign with a brochure box, with an 800 number, that when they called, they actually got a call back from either Julie or myself, because we had no staff at that point. Just that we were able to, frankly, dominate that little neighborhood within 1 year. And all the other embedded agents that had been there for like 1,000 years, right? They were like, who the hell are this Tim and Julie? And they didn't understand what we were doing. All we were doing is our damn jobs. That's all we were doing.
That's right. And so the reflective real estate sign, the home brochure box, the 800 home hotline, our open houses, because we would rock the open houses there, made it also possible. Remember when we used to door knock for sale by owners in that same neighborhood? They knew us from the sign, the brochure box, the 800 number, and our open house traffic. And It made talking to that for sale by owner that much easier, and them really resonating with us because they had seen what we had done. And this is when I talk as a coach, when I talk to you guys about, if you're newer, it's getting that one key listing that you can do all of this stuff to. If you are a more established agent and you're trying to break into something like New Albany Country Club, okay? Like Tammy Irby in Northern Virginia, we're trying to get her into Great Falls, which is another upscale neighborhood. You just need one really killer listing.
And then work it.
And work the daylights out of it. And then one thing leads to the next, leads to the next. This is called self-generating, which is proactive, okay? But you've got to become a listing agent, because imagine, you told a story off of that was our first listing, that led to 15 to 20 transactions, easy. Imagine if you had 5 of those going at the same time.
Julie and I are bouncing off each other because we're remembering so much from where we sold real estate.
It was fun.
It was fun, definitely. But you go and list a for sale by owner, and chances are that for sale by owner, depending on your price point, is going to want to move up. Even if a first-time buyer is going to buy another house. So Julie and I were listing these homes, and generally what they were buying was worth twice as much. Mm-hmm. So we listed at the end of the year, and we sold 103 homes. That was including the pendings. But half of them were sellers, and most of those sellers were then buying something else from us. Mm-hmm. Very few of those were straight up buyers. Now, we did double into a lot of our listings because of all the things that we're telling you guys about now. So I have a question for all of you listeners. Why are you making it so damn difficult? Why do you believe lead generation should be expensive or difficult? And why do you believe you have to buy your buyer leads? Everything we're describing to you right now works, and actually works better because everybody else essentially is, delegating their lead follow-up. They're putting people in drip campaigns. Consumers are having these awful experiences with these agents that are trying to hide from actually doing their jobs.
That's very true. And, I was just thinking as you were talking, a lot of agents would have objections to some of this because their objection is, well, when I get a listing, it sells so fast I don't have time to do any of this, which I would argue with. You can use 800 Home Hotline. You can use your brochure boxes. You can canvas the neighborhood with all of this. So even if you are selling it right away, you just slightly change your message. And then, you do what the previous point was, use a sold sign next to your 800 Home Hotline. So that's not an excuse.
Well, Jules, back when we sold real estate, which wasn't that long ago, you would have, it would go, let's say it's sold in 60 days and it would close in another 30 days. So you had 90 days of sign time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, if it sells in 30 days or 60 days, they're going to have another 60 days of sign time.
I know.
That's 3 or 4 months
you have to utilize it.
Of a free billboard in front of someone's home, and you're going to get a big sign from Reflective Real Estate. I think that's the actual name of the company. We don't have a business.
It is. I checked.
Okay, so you're going to have a big sign, the largest sign zoning will permit. Oh, my broker won't allow me to bid a big sign. All of our signs have to look the same.
Have you even asked?
Well, here's a better answer. Get a new broker.
There you go.
Right? Text EXP to 47372. Or if you're ready to join, text me directly at 512-758-0206. Work with a broker that is going to do something other than make you broker. Work with a broker that's going to help you build your business. We're giving you very insightful ideas on how you guys can progress past the competition.
Yeah, if your broker is continuously saying, no, you can't do that, no, we don't do that, you need to upgrade your broker.
You guys already know that, right? I mean, don't you intuitively know that? We're telling you what works. We're telling you what will always work in all market conditions and all price ranges. And then you go and you're stuck in an environment where they're telling you don't do the things that actually work. You need to change your environment.
Exactly. Okay. Point number 9, don't have a confusing, overly busy looking sign with 3 hang-down riders and 14 phone numbers, a QR code, a website, and your Facebook address. Keep it simple. One number which goes straight to you. 1-800-HOME hotline. Go there.com and get your number. That goes straight to you. Don't confuse people. And I know QR codes and all the rest, but you know what? People have to get out of the car to do that.
People still don't use those much in the United States. I mean, I only use QR codes when I'm setting up, electronics and such like that.
Or restaurant menus, maybe.
But, I have to say there is, again, the sign riders and all this, you guys, look, signs should be simple. Go to 1-800-HOME-hotline.com. Look what the sign design looks like. When you looked at Julie and I's real estate sign, back when we sold real estate, you would see a big reflective real estate sign. Yes, we had our picture on it. And yes, we looked like we were 12. And there was only one phone number on it. The phone number was 614-846-0500. That was the only phone number. That phone number, because we did get, that wasn't the actual, that was a phone number that on the invoice, on the bill that every month we paid for, that was actually it wasn't even a cell phone number now I think about it.
No, back then.
But we had our broker's name on the bill. So if someone said in our state, you can't advertise a phone number on a sign that's not your broker's phone number, fine. Then have it be your broker's phone number or your broker's name on the invoice along with yours. You just pay it every month. And in most cases, that's going to remedy that. Proceed cautiously and check your own sources on that, but it should work. I've never had any of our coaching clients tell me that didn't work. And then the only other phone number on the sign should be your 800-HOME-hotline.com rider. And it should be large, in charge, bright, obnoxious. And I'm talking something that nobody can avoid. That if you can do a fluorescent, do a fluorescent. And it should say, and don't deviate from this script, for free, 24-hour recorded info on this home. Call your, individual 800 number and press the extension. Do not confuse them with a bunch of other information and then put a brochure box on there. That's it.
Exactly. All right. Point number 10, and then you'll have your bonus point in a second. Point number 10, open houses are also a fantastic lead generator. Use your sign to advertise your upcoming open houses. Use inexpensive bandit signs to direct traffic to your open house and door knock the homeowners whose yards you're planting signs in. Ask them who they know who you should invite to your open house. Follow up on all open house leads using our system and scripts to immediately convert leads to listings. We have dedicated podcast series about how to not just sit your open house, how to monetize it. So, that's another great source. And you can use 800-HOME hotline for that too.
Okay. I couldn't wait for Julie to stop talking about point number 10 so I can share with you guys point number 11.
Which really, we saved the best for last because this is such a powerful listing tool. It's crazy.
All right. I want you to imagine that you're sitting in front of a seller. It's a listing appointment. And you're trying to explain to them, look, everyone, basically, agents in the eyes of most consumers, sellers, they're fungible. In other words, one's easily replaced with another. Oh, that's what personal branding is about. Yes, but at the same time, you show up at the listing appointment, you're going to be saying all the same things that the other agents are showing. The thing that's going to differentiate you is your actual track record, not the brand that you spend all this money and time trying to create to try to convince people that you're successful, your actual record of being successful. Now, if you don't have an actual record of being successful, here's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to outwork the successful agents out there that have the track record. And here's the way we did it. Here's the way that at this point, probably hundreds of thousands of our past coaching clients have done it. And this will work for you. This is not the listing presentation. This is part of it, but this is the most important part when it comes to marketing. And I'm not going to give you the exact script. I'm just going to set the table for you, okay? You're sitting at the table with the seller. You're explaining to them about the marketing. You can tell they're only sort of paying attention because of the fact that they're seeing the same stuff that every other agent said. You advertise on websites, they advertise on websites. You do this, they do this. They do the other thing. You have 1 billion people following you on social, they have 1 billion people following them on social. No big deal. But here's the difference. Mr. Seller, and then what you're going to do, now Julie and I did it both ways. I can't believe I still get geeked up from this.
I know, but honestly, it was so competitive and so awesome.
So we would sometimes show them a picture of our for sale sign, or other times we'd walk in with an actual rider. We did it both ways. And this is what we would do. We would put, let's just use the picture. Mr. Seller, this is your for sale sign. And this is a seller that's kind of skeptical, which is like 50% of them. Mm-hmm. It's the guy with his arms crossed that's an accountant or something who knows it all. You guys have been in those situations
What makes
before?
you so different?
Exactly. So you're going to put you're going to put, and the only thing that's going to make it different in his mind is that you're going to overprice it, cut your commission, and, show up every Saturday to scrub his toilets. You guys get what I'm saying?
Right.
This is a seller that no matter what, you're not going to get him to actually frankly respect what you're trying to provide for him until this very moment. Mr. Seller, I want you to, and they're going to resist, some of them are going to resist when you ask them to do this, which is extra funny. Go grab their phone number, or their phone. They might have a cell phone, they might not have a home line, it doesn't matter. Put a picture of your actual for sale sign in front of them. Or, like I said, bring in an actual writer. Now, have them call. Here's the scenario. Mr. Seller, I want you to pretend you're a buyer. This is the sign that's sitting in front of your house right now. You're an actual urgent, ready-to-buy buyer. You've been driving neighborhoods. You're relocating here. You want to be in the next 90 days. You have to be here because school's starting, your work transfer is happening, whatever, right? You're calling this 800 home hot. You're going to call this number right here. Some of the sellers are going to go like, okay, I get it. No, Mr. Seller, please work with me here. And then they're going to call the phone number. And then you're going to have them put the phone down. I still remember doing this to this day. It was so fun. Have them put the phone down, put it on speaker. Not your phone, their phone. Okay? And then they're going to call the phone number. They're going to call your phone number, 1-800-555-1212. Then they'll hit the extension. And then they're going to hear your voice reading a little audio ad about their home because you prepared part of the listing appointment. You're calling about 123 Elm Street. This is an amazing 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath home with a private backyard. Recently updated this, that, and the other. And they're going to go, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And then you're going to slowly, don't screw up the staging here. I'm trying to, add some drama here. So hopefully you guys are working with me. You're going to slowly pull your cell phone out and you're going to put it on the table next to theirs. And about at that time, your phone is going to send you a text. It's going to be their phone. Remember, they're still on speaker. It's going to be their phone number showing up on your text. And you're then going to pick up your phone after they see that they just got a text with their phone number. And you're going to put the phone up to your head and you're going to call them back. They're going to answer the phone and you're going to say, hello, this is Tim Harris with eXp Realty. In front of them, they're listening to you on speaker as you're saying this on your phone. Hello, this is Tim Harris with eXp Realty. As a courtesy, when people call our 800 number, we like to give them a quick call back to see if they have any questions about the home they just called about. And then you can hang up the phone, and then you're going to see that butthead skeptical seller is going to all of a sudden completely understand what makes you different. And you're going to be able to explain to him, Mr. Seller, listen, everybody advertises on websites. Everybody does this. Everybody does the other thing. But here's the difference. This is the reason that this is the reason that sellers hire me. This is the reason I have the best list to sell price ratio. This is the reason I have a days on the market that is far shorter than what all of my competitors are. It's because I actually follow up with all my own leads, and this is how I do it. This is one of the greatest secrets that I have, Mr. Seller. Every single time somebody calls about your home for sale, I'm going to call them back right away. And I'm going to pre-qualify them. And I'm going to start answering questions. And then I'm going to sell your house to that prospective buyer. I'm not waiting around for another agent to show and sell your house. I'm going to do it myself. Mr. Seller, isn't that what you want in your listing agent? And then just shut up.
Done.
That's it. Because what have the other agents have done? What have they done? They haven't done anything like that, right?
Nope.
That right there is oftentimes going to be the secret sauce to you getting the listing, even if you had no prior relationship with that seller.
And it works especially well because that seller, they're moving, right? So they've just gone through this experience with trying to find a house that they're interested in. They're calling, they're not getting any information. They talk to a Zillow agent that doesn't even have the listing.
Buyer.
Right. The seller who is also a buyer, they know that other agents don't answer the phone. They get an agent who doesn't have the listing. It was outdated online. They've had this same frustration, so they can 100% relate to the fact that you are calling back immediately, answering the question immediately, and they are shocked and amazed at this.
Well, here's the other thing. I mean, my brain is just full of these experiences. You and I had thousands of them, right?
That's awesome.
And we sold between 100 and 200 homes per year, guys, for almost 10 years. So we've done this. I mean, we're still getting geeked up about it. Going on listing appointments is absolutely the best. It's the high point of being in real estate because it's so much fun when you are competitive, when you know you're going to win. All right. So here's what you'll hear sellers say. I mean, this sounds kind of mean, but it's true. They'll say things like, well, I called our previous listing agent, Sally, and frankly, she hasn't even called me back to set the appointment. Or
they'll say it 3 days ago.
Right. Or they'll say that. And so then you don't even have to throw Sally under the bus. She already did it herself by not calling them back right away. But you can say, well, Mr. Seller, obviously, if you're in a situation where your prospective buyer needs furiously fast lead follow-up, we want to call those people back prior to them actually going and calling on another sign, or going to a website and learning about your neighbor's house for sale, or going to another website and learning about new construction. You want me calling them back urgently so I can help them to at least set up an appointment after I pre-qualify them to see your home. You guys get it? That's the secret. That's one of the number one things that we're going to teach you when you join a Premier Coaching program, is to be furiously fast with your lead follow-up. In a market like this, in any market, but especially a market like this, where there's so many agents that have never learned any sales skills. And by the way, just doing furiously fast lead follow-up, is there a lot of sales skills involved with that? Nope. It's just called not being lazy. All of you hopefully can, not be lazy for long enough so you can actually call folks back. Because remember, the person that's calling about a home for sale, depending on the price point, 50% of the time, that's also going to be a seller that has a house to sell. Opportunities everywhere, guys. It's just up to you to find it. Your homework from today's podcast: when you're ready to move up to eXp Realty, Julie and I'd love the opportunity to be your eXp Realty sponsors. Text me directly at 512-758-0206. If you're just getting ready to get started and you want to learn more about eXp Realty, that's great as well. Text the letters EXP to 47372. Remember, when texting, message and data rates may apply. And also, all of you are going to want to, 800homehotline.com. As I think it's free for the first 30 days. There's no gotchas. There's no hidden expenses. It's $37 a month. Do this, put the system in place before you take your first listing, because obviously this is going to be the secret sauce to you getting the listing and not. If you want to have an unfair advantage in the marketplace as an existing listing agent, maintain your unfair advantage in the marketplace, well, you might want to consider 800homehotline.com. Just go to 1-800-HOME-HOTLINE.com and go ahead and sign up. In the meantime, guys, thank you for keeping this the number one listened to daily podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. We sincerely appreciate all of you. If there's ever anything Julie and I can do for you, message me on Instagram. It's at Tim and Julie Harris. We love the pictures that you guys send. We got a great picture the other day of someone at Barnes & Noble buying our best-selling book, Harris Rules, things like that. We do post pictures of our personal life and our professional life. So a lot of you guys are getting a lot of motivation from Julie and I, working out every day and doing things like that. So yes, let's stay connected. If you're looking for a community of like-minded folks that are going to be, frankly, not afraid of the changes that are happening in the economy, you have found it. Thank you for keeping this the number one listened to daily podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. We'll talk with you on the show tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.